Back at it again with the facts. Here are 50 amazing facts to blow your mind. In Germany, a driver's license costs over $2,000 after a minimum of 25 to 45 hours of professional instruction plus 12 hours of theory. Abraham Lincoln was so convinced that he was going to lose the election of 1864 that he asked Frederick Douglass to lead scouts into the South to free as many slaves as possible before the new president took office. Among the top 50 drunkest counties in America, 41 are in Wisconsin. Life expectancy at birth probably averaged only about 10 years for most of human history. Mariah Carey bought Marilyn Monroe's childhood piano for $662,500 back in 1999. When Marilyn's mother was institutionalized, Marilyn was sent to an orphanage and the piano was sold. It would take years of searching for Marilyn to find the piano and buy it back. Mariah wants it to be in a museum. Rachel McAdams, who plays 17-year-old Regina George, was 25 years old at the time. Her mother on film, Amy Poehler, was only 8 years older at 33. NASA lost a $330 million Mars orbiter in 1999, immediately before Mars orbit was achieved, because one of the contracted US companies used imperial units instead of metric. They didn't check that? They didn't check that before. With all that money invested, okay, well. US airlines are legally required to refund a ticket within 24 hours of purchase, no matter if the ticket type was refundable or not. Arnold Schwarzenegger's salary in Terminator 2 Judgment Day was paid mostly by buying him a $12.75 million Gulfstream 3 jet. Thuy Trang, the actress who played the original Yellow Power Ranger, was one of the Vietnamese boat people who left Vietnam on a boat after the fall of Saigon at the end of the Vietnam War. During the period aptly named the Great Dying, approximately 251.9 million years ago, 57% of biological families on Earth, including 81% of marine life and 70% of terrestrial vertebrates, went extinct. The likely cause was volcanic activity turned the oceans toxic and released toxic gas like sulfuric dioxide into the air. Osama bin Laden's father had over 20 wives and fathered over 50 children. In 2012, LL Cool J broke the nose, jaw, and ribs of a man charged with breaking into his home. The family was sleeping when their home security alarm went off at 1 a.m., sending LL Cool J into action. After catching the man, he held him down until the authorities arrived. Mama said knock you out. A 2013 study found that the act of chopping down trees results in greater increases in testosterone than does a directly competitive activity such as soccer. Chopping down trees saw an increase of 46.8%, whereas soccer only saw an increase of 30.1%. Australia is the lowest and flattest continent in the world, with an average elevation of only 1,000 feet due to being near the center of a tectonic plate. Multiple studies have found that an extra inch of height can be worth an extra $1,000 a year in wages for both men and women. A couple wrote a spur-of-the-moment letter to Buckingham Palace inviting Queen Elizabeth II to their wedding. She unexpectedly showed up. There have been multiple attempts to privatize the National Weather Service and charge for weather data that's currently in the public domain. Although the US Coast Guard is the second smallest US military service branch in terms of membership, the service by itself is the world's 12th largest naval force. Joyce Vincent was a 38-year-old woman who died in her London apartment while watching TV. Her body wasn't discovered until nearly 3 years later when officials arrived to repossess the apartment for unpaid rent. Although Frank Sinatra and Marlon Brando's feud was reportedly mild at the start of production for Guys and Dolls, Brando began to hate Sinatra because he kept calling Brando Mumbles to make him angry. So Brando pretended to forget his lines during a scene which forced Sinatra to eat repeatedly. The fastest badminton shot ever played had a speed of 565 kilometers per hour, which is 351.1 miles per hour. That exceeds the fastest speed recorded by a Formula One car by almost 200 kilometers per hour. Benjamin Franklin used to sit around naked for extended periods to take air baths. James Cameron offered Matt Damon 10% of Avatar, which would have earned the actor over $250 million. Vanessa Lawrence, a woman who was on the 91st floor of the World Trade Center North Tower as Flight 11 crashed into it, survived with only a cut on her foot. Paul McCartney, Phil Collins, and Michael Jackson are the only musicians who have sold over 100 million records both as solo artists and as members of a band. Castrated men do not go bald. Balding is caused by sex hormones, which castrated men do not produce. Walt Disney came up with the modern ski trail designations, such as green circle, blue square, and black diamond. Tuberculosis was first brought to the Americas by seals that contracted it on beaches of Africa and carried it across the Atlantic around 1,000 years ago. In South America, it was likely contracted first by hunters who handled contaminated meat. In 2013, a man tried to dribble a football from Seattle to Brazil to promote a charity. Sadly, he was run over and killed by a truck just 250 miles into his 10,000-mile trip. Coca-Cola released a German advertisement celebrating the 75th anniversary of Fanta's 1940 founding in Germany. Before it got pulled, it stated that it wanted to bring the feeling of the good old times back. Ah yes, 1940s Germany. Good times. The Smoky Mountains are home to a temperate rainforest on a section of the mountains near Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Worldwide, this is a very rare ecosystem that is not experienced by many other locations on Earth. Illinois holds about 1/8 of all nuclear waste in the United States, by far the most for any state, about 10,000 tons. Axolotls are able to regrow their limbs, tails, gills, brain, and even hearts within a few weeks. Many early phone lines were party lines that anyone who picked up the phone could listen in on. Customers actually had to pay an extra monthly fee to upgrade to a private line. Halo cars are made with the intent to represent a brand and improve public perception of them, with little to no intention for making a profit on them. Most major brands have them, for example, Dodge's Viper and Ford's GT series. NSYNC is spelled with the last letters of the band members' first names. The song The Lion Sleeps Tonight, sung by Timon and Pumbaa in the original Lion King, led to a major lawsuit. Originally composed by Solomon Linda in 1939, his family won a settlement for royalties in 2006 worth $1.6 million. Bangladesh is the most populous country never to have won an Olympic medal. Solitary confinement causes prisoners to have difficulty separating reality from their own thoughts, which may lead to confused thought processes, perceptual distortions, paranoia, and psychosis. Physical effects include lethargy, insomnia, palpitations, and anorexia. If you carve something into a tree, it'll still be at the same height 50 years later. Dame Jocelyn Bell Burnell, who was an astrophysicist, discovered pulsars in 1972, but had her boss not only take credit for the discovery, but also win a Nobel Prize for it. In Japan, they used to keep time so that there was always 6 hours of night and 6 hours of day, so an hour changed length in winter and summer. Interestingly, the Romans did the same thing, only it was a 12-hour day and 12 hours of night. In Japanese folklore, there are ghosts that come and cut your hair in the middle of the night. They usually give you a really bad haircut. They sometimes do this as a warning that you're about to get married to a demon and they're protecting you. The monarch of the country of Cambodia doesn't inherit the throne. Instead, they're elected via a special council called the Royal Council of the Throne. There's an abandoned Six Flags in New Orleans that was shut down after heavy damage from Katrina. It's been used for various films such as Percy Jackson, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and Jurassic World. Not only did the YMCA used to offer dormitory housing at most of its US locations, it boasted over 100,000 rooms in the 1940s. This was more than any hotel chain at the time. Gravity on the International Space Station is about 90% of that of Earth's. It looks like they're on 0G because the astronauts and the ISS are in a continual state of freefall orbiting the Earth. Throughout recorded history, a wild orca has never killed a human, even though they're capable of ending even a great white shark. Captive orcas, however, have killed 4 people, out of which 3 were done by the same specimen. According to US Census data, the state of New York in 2023 had both the largest population decline in pure numbers, almost 102,000 residents, and the highest rate of population decline, 0.5% among all 50 states. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this, please like it and share it. It helps me out a lot. And I will see you guys next week with another video. Goodbye now.